Oh, come on. And push it twice. Right. Yay. All right, so we are live. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to JCPS Digital Learning Live. And we are glad you're joining us today. We have a great lineup for you on this Thursday, May 21st. I'm Elaine Abernatha, Digital Innovation Leader, along with Kyle and Chandler, and we work with middle schools, and I also work with Daniel Washburn with state agencies. So I'm going to let our two guests here take it away, and we have Kate from Zeke, and we also have Kyle, who's my partner. Good morning, guys.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Glad to have you, and I will let you go ahead and get started. Kate, let me know if you need anything, and I will be watching the chat. I want to remind everybody, too, that real quick, as you are joining us, make sure you introduce yourself. Let us know who you are, where you teach, so that we can learn from you as well, and any questions or suggestions that you have for Kate and Kyle and myself and all the other ones joining. If you don't have that chat capability, just make sure you're logged into YouTube. And Kate, I told you to take it away, and now you can take it away.
Okay, so I'm Kate Mastronicola. I teach at Zeke Middle School. I'm the STC and also the STLP person, all the acronyms. But one of my side hobbies is totally doing organizational things. So our session today is about how you can kind of declutter some of your digital spaces, especially now reaching the end of this chunk of NTI. If you've never been someone who's made documents every day for online learning or like one-to-one, I'm sure things have piled up at this point. So taking a step back and really thinking about how you want to organize your stuff is a good thing. So I'm going to hopefully remember how to do this shared screen business. Like when you turn right on the board and you forget how to solve
You got this, and we're here to help you, Kyle and I. So.
And Kate was far too kind and very sweet as always, and made a misstep and said this is our session. This is Kate's session. We wanted to spotlight some superstars out there, so she came to my top of the list. This is all her work, all her brainchild. So I'm just glad that she let me come on here with her. So thank you, Kate.
Well, tag team, teamwork. Did I get the successfully captions at the bottom?
Yes, that's great. Yeah.
Yes. Morning sessions are always the hardest. So, yes, this is decluttering your digital life, a deep dive into Google Drive, because I've taught language arts for 7 years and I like alliteration and wordplay. So, here's my contact information. If you try and look me up, my name is super long. I usually introduce myself as, "Hi, I'm Kate," and then I tell people my full name because Catherine Mastronicola is, intimidating. So we want to start with Google Drive and just sorting your information, kind of seeing where you're at. Google Drive is great because our work one, or JCPS one rather, has unlimited storage. And if you've, been like a Dropbox person in the past or dabbled with a personal Gmail, it's really easy to max out your space. So having lots of space is a wonderful gift. And Google Drive is a great place to start, especially if you have things on your desktop that have just piled up and you need to put them in Google Drive, or if you've been making things in Google Drive and haven't sorted them anywhere, this is where you go. So this presentation is something that I've been fine-tuning since last summer rather. So some of these screenshots are from this time last school year. This screenshot was my Google Drive before I did my annual spring cleaning. So even as someone who likes to organize, it's like laundry. You make it to the point where you're done, but then 2 days later, I'll bring you them out again. So having a system, I think, is key to really try and keep up with your stuff and not feel overwhelmed. But I wanted to show you that even, I get frustrated and I get overwhelmed, and you have to take a step back and sort through things. So this was my drive. You can see that I have some folders up at the top, but then this hot mess of documents at the bottom.
She's talking about organizing.
This is what you can do to your drive. Grid view and list view are two ways that you can see all of your stuff.
I have like
Grid view is on the left and list view is on the right. And you can change that in the top right of your drive. There's a thing that looks like a list and a thing that looks like a grid. It's pretty intuitive. But I prefer list view just because you can see ownership of documents and folders. You can see when things were used last, which is really helpful if you're trying to find something specific. Or it's helpful if you are trying to archive information and you're like, I haven't used this in a year. Maybe I don't need it at the forefront of my drive. So the first way you can organize your drive is by color. This is just one way you can sort it. It's kind of like a stoplight. I think green, go, red, stop kind of thing. Not the only way, totally up to you. But I threw my sorting key down at the bottom. Things that are green are current folders. Things that are orange are kind of in the middle of the road, like, pause, I may not need this right away. Red are folders that are totally archived. Things that I probably don't need, but because I'm a teacher and I don't like to get rid of anything ever, they get archived and marked red. And then I kind of made pink and blue secondary colors. So light blue were things that really weren't school related, but like I didn't want to lose. And then pink were secondary resources. So when I archive, I make a folder that, is my archive, whatever, and then in the title of the folder, I list it as an archive folder. And things that are kind of recent that I probably won't need, I keep them yellow, and then things that are red are things that I, really probably don't need. So again, like the whole stoplight thing. You can also add emojis to your folders, which has been my recent obsession, because they're fun. So emojis can be added, and then it's just that extra graphic, and it just makes it a little bit different. The thing with emojis, you can add them through your phone, because most people probably have their emoji keywords set up already, especially if you text. So then when you go to enter the name of the folder, your keyword's already there and you can insert that emoji. If you're doing it from your computer, it's not overly complicated. Honestly, if you Google emojis, you'll end up seeing what you would have on your phone keyboard, and you can copy and paste that way as well. The other way you can organize your Google Drive is by standard. So this is an example of when I taught 6th grade language arts, and I had everything set up by standard. This was at least 3 years ago, so I know the standards have kind of shifted in the way that it's written, maybe a little bit different. So yes, I'm aware this is dated. But standard's really cool if you're trying to group assignments and make sure you cover everything. And if you're doing standards-based grading or planning in that way, if that's how your brain works, go for it. My only hesitation or caveat for this is, if standards change, then you have to go back and recatalog things. Or if you move grades, you kind of have to start over. And as someone who's moved around a lot, that frustrated me to no end. But it was helpful in the moment. And it was a good process to go through because it made me really think about, okay, is this meeting the standard? Is this activity solid? Or is this just filler? So things that were filler, I didn't tend to keep. And even though it was by standard, like you can see that I still had a folder for like the first days of school, because that's kind of, that's its own thing. So how to create folders, pretty simple. Just like with anything else in Google Suite, when you see a plus, that's like, think math, you're adding to whatever you're doing. So when you click that plus button up towards the left, you can add a new folder, and that's where I start. Once you've added the folder and you've named it, you can go back in at any point in time and you can change the color, or you can rename it and rearrange your stuff so that it works for you. So even if you are someone who started this process and you got frustrated and gave up, not all is lost. You can go back in and you can tweak what you've done and rework things. I strongly suggest setting a timer for like 10 minutes. Spend 10 minutes on your drive, walk away. It is so easy to get overwhelmed and give up. But if you chunk it, it's a lot more manageable. Or if you're someone who likes to sit and binge Netflix, pick a show you've seen or one that doesn't like require 100% of your focus, and just, passively move documents into folders and make it work for you. It doesn't have to be something that you accomplish in one go, or it doesn't have to be super stressful, because everything can be manipulated and changed. So again, just to change things, you would right click on a folder, and that's how you access this extra menu of options where you can change the color and you can change the name. So this is a screenshot of this process as well. And in my presentation, which should be linked, there is that hyperlink for number 3 up here, where there is an emoji keyword that I found for you if you don't feel like Googling it. It's not overly complicated. The thing about emojis, though, is that it doesn't necessarily sort things alphabetically. I don't know why, but it's got its own hierarchy of how the emojis are sorted, and that's how it picks. So if your brain doesn't like that, skip the emoji part or put the emoji at the end, and then it'll go alphabetical. You could also number your folders if that helps you, and then things would be in number order when you sorted them by name. Additionally, before you can always put things into folders, you do need to know what you have. So when you're in your drive and you are looking through all your documents, if you have a lot of things that are untitled, I would strongly recommend going in and figuring out what you have and naming those things. It is great to have a standard system of naming. So lately my kick has been dating everything, trying to figure out, I like to do things using periods. So 5 period 21 period 20. That way I don't have to worry about the slashes or having a space in there. It's really consistent. So dates are helpful. Keeping names consistent for STLP stuff. I sometimes put STLP at the start and then the name of the document, or sometimes at the end, and that's not helpful. So I have to work on making sure that I am consistent so I can find things as well, because I think the longer you do this, the more stuff you amass, and then the more things you're involved with. But if you can find what you need quicker, you will be less frustrated, and then your workflow is more efficient. I would also suggest using folders and subfolders. You don't have to have everything there in front of you. When I archive things, I just drag folders into other folders, change the color, add archive to the title, and move on. And like I said, you don't have to do this all at once. Don't be like my angry Bitmoji, because that's a waste of coffee and probably a computer. There are a couple nuances between your drive and shared drives. So if you've totally gone and revamped your drive and you're like, oh, now I'm going to go do my PLC drive, I have some, considerations. First thing you want to figure out is check your permissions. See how much power you have in that shared drive, because you may not have the ability to amend documents or move things or delete things. So before you get super motivated and then frustrated, check your permissions. In shared drives, you also can't change the color of folders, which sucks. That's why I have the want button. I've wanted that for years. But you can add emojis. So this is a screenshot of my quick recall folder, because that's one of my side hobbies. Nerd sport. Yay, go team. I love them. I can call them nerds. But we have a giant shared drive where we link all of our study resources and our materials. And I invite my new kids every year, and they stay, every year that they're part of the team. And then I roll them out of the drive kind of thing, because there's some proprietary stuff in there. But I can number my folders and I can add emojis in there as well. So, you've got some flexibility depending on, like I said, your permissions. So that's the short version of Google Drive. The other two things that we didn't get to do a lot of last week, which was my goal for this week, was to talk about Google Keep and Google Calendar, because there are a lot of fun ways to integrate all of these resources together. So this is Google Keep. My screen's still shared, right? Kyle? Marco?
You're good. Yeah, I see you.
Okay.
I'm having trouble getting the slap of the button.
Gotcha. I just want to make sure I'm not 100% crazy.
No.
Google Keep is my favorite organizational to-do list thing, because if you're a sticky note person, the transition to this was great, because instead of my sticky notes falling off when you get the kind that doesn't have the good sticky back, they're all here in Keep. And Keep is accessible from the Waffle. It is a Google product as well. So it's here, it looks like a sticky with a light bulb. And Google Keep is great because you can continue the pattern of color coding, you can add pictures, you can invite other people. So in my Keep, I have all of my things pinned that are important, and something that I learned last week from Elaine was the idea of having a to-do list for each day pinned at the top. And she even mentioned having a really pretty graphic up there, but no, I'm not quite into that. I haven't spent the time to do that yet. But I have my daily to-do lists up here. I have my long-term one where I keep, things that I want to get to but maybe haven't gotten to yet. I even use this for my grocery list. Because it's on my phone, so if I think of something, I can add it there. Or if I'm at the grocery, it's there. But it also transfers over to my computer. So, who remembers what your furnace filter number is? I don't, but I've taken a picture of it and now I've got it and I can find it accessibly. Or my microchip information for my pet. If my dog ever, got out, I wouldn't want to waste time trying to find this document. I'd want to be immediately able to go to it and say, hey, here it is. So Keep is great for that.
Have you found a good way to insert hyperlinks in there? That's what I have trouble with. Is it wants to copy, I guess?
I just tend to copy and paste them in there.
Yeah, okay.
So my green notes down at the bottom, this is the chronological part, tend to be things that I want to try or use for STLP. And I copy and paste and then it's there. Sometimes it's a little tricky, when I'm on my phone, to push the link, but it's not a bad solution, we'll put it that way.
Yeah. Cool.
The two ways for Keep, the sections that I have notes that are pinned, so they stay up at the top, and I can rearrange them just by clicking and dragging if I want to. And then all of your other notes are down here at others, and this is chronological. So if I were to take a note, let's say test note, yay, this is a test. You can have your title up at the top and then your meat down at the bottom. You can go down and change your color. You can add other people. So I tend to do this a lot for backpack stuff because I am part of our backpack committee. So that's helpful if we're in between defenses or oh, this is a great idea. So I'll put it in my Keep and I'll share it. Or for SPDM, sometimes I'm the secretary. I wear many hats. Side note, I am our secretary. So if we have a quick meeting in the morning and I don't feel like taking my computer because I was in, my morning duty, I'll quickly sum up what happened in a Google Keep note and then go back and transfer it to real minutes after the fact. Yes, yay, it worked. So collaboration's great. If you pin it, by clicking this pin, it goes up to the top when I close it, right here. If I unpin it, it sends it down to this other section where it's just, like I said, chronological. You can add images. So, spoiler alert, I'm working on Bitmoji, Christmas card type thing for our staff right now. So I can pin it and save it and honestly, I use Keep most with screenshots. If I see something on my phone and I screenshot it and I want to pull it up on my computer later, I will totally put it in a Keep note and then just copy and paste it over later.
And what, Catherine, what I like about that you just said, it made me think of it, was that you easily can see it. It's like a preview. So versus if you put it into a slide deck for that purpose or a Google Doc, you would not need to necessarily see that preview. So great tip. Love that.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think one of our 8th grade PLCs was doing some kind of project and kids needed like selfies for math, and they're doing things with shapes. Not a math person, so that's about all I can tell you content-wise. But they were trying to solve the problem of, well, if kids have things on their phone, but then they want to move it over later with a Chromebook, how do they move it from their phone? And like, well, have them put it in their Google Keep and then just copy and paste it over. So shared things between the two are great. And if you're somebody who hops between a lot of devices, Keep is also helpful to kind of keep you sane and organized. And like I use Google Keep, you'll see all these links in here because it's all stuff I want to try or play with, or things I don't want to forget, extensions, and it can be messy. And there are some Keep notes that I did delete for this presentation. I'll leave passwords in here, or like the lock combination to the Chromebook card that I don't want to forget. So that stuff stays in here too. But privacy pick, that figured that probably wasn't wise on YouTube. The other thing that's really neat with Keep is that in Google Calendar, and this is what I learned last week, but I didn't realize that you could have Keep over here. You can have your Keep notes off to the side. And it's all this magic side panel business. So I'm usually a minimalist, and I don't like to have the side panel open, but it's worth it if you click the side panel and then Keep, because then your stuff's here. So I live in my Google Calendar, which is the last thing I wanted to show you guys, because it helps me stay organized. But you can have Keep and Calendar. And then what's really cool is if you're in a Google Doc, you also have this side panel, and you can switch between Keep and Calendar and still work on whatever it is you're working on.
Wow.
Mind blown.
Definitely.
Mind blown. And that's all accessible through the side panel. So like I said, I'm not a full screen person. I kind of like to be minimalistic or have multiple things open, or like my email kind of behind so I can see what pops up. But if you do go full screen, you can access this panel down here with the arrow, and then you can switch between the two. So I can see, things that I have going on today or tomorrow, blah, 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 past, and you can connect with your Keep. So you can, see what it is that needed to happen. And this is accessible from Google Docs, or like I was in Calendar, and I can see it here too. Google Calendar is great, especially if you're doing collaborative things. So usually when you go to your Google Calendar, it kind of looks like this. And I'm going to clear out all of my calendars. So you have Google Calendar. There's nothing in here. You can set it up based on how you like to see things. If you are a day person, you can have it viewed by day. You can view it by day. If you need to zoom out and look big picture, you can go by month. And any Google Classroom that you're part of automatically shows up. So like the 3 classes that I teach, I have here. Your calendar will have your name, and then any other calendars that you have added will also be part of here, and then you can add other people as well. So the way that I use this most is to help schedule our defenses. So we have a calendar that is just set up for our defenses, and we use kind of a hybrid of Microsoft stuff too. We have a Microsoft bookings page, which if you've never played with that, that's really fun. It just doesn't have as much integration with Google Meet. So I send each kid and all the panelists a confirmation Google Calendar invite that has a link in it already, and it's how we schedule our NTI defenses. But I can see all of them at a glance. I can look at our other panelists to verify schedules, and all I did was search their name and add them. It wasn't anything super crazy. I can overlay my calendar on here as well. So I usually like looking things kind of a week type view, just so I know what's what. And today is a light day for defenses. Tomorrow is insane. But I can kind of see, where things are. You can delete calendars. At the start of all of NTI, I got invited to everybody's Google Classroom section for the entire building. And we have 1,100 students, so that's a lot of sections. So I deleted other people's classroom calendars because I didn't need that. And all it is unsubscribing. This X when you hover over it. So this is kind of what you make of it. But like the first week of NTI, I wasn't religiously using my calendar, and I was frustrated by the lack of schedule. So having this routine is super helpful. And yes, if you think about our email and the Microsoft side of things and the Outlook, we do have a calendar over there, and things kind of tend to hop back and forth between both. I have some things I've accepted in my Microsoft calendar that totally show up in this calendar. So there's a little bit of talking. Sometimes things don't. But I tend to pick the one that I prefer. Like I prefer this most versus the Outlook calendar because of how intuitive it is and how easy it is to schedule a Google Meet. So
I second that, Kate. It's absolutely, and it's so pretty. It's so pretty, isn't it?
It's not pretty. But like, I just clicked the plus button, all Google things new. It automatically gives you a link right here where you can add a Google Meet link. Mm-hmm. So it's super helpful.
We also have a video on the channel that talks about, Kate, I know that you may not know this, but there's a video that talks about setting up appointments in your Google calendar. So that is going to be helpful too. And it takes away appointments as people sign on for it. So if you are out there, make sure that you check that out.
Oh yeah. So that's actually what I did for my office hours. I took them off this week because we're kind of tapering, but I did staff office hours and kid office hours because we had a lot of staff who struggled with the transition to NTI, which makes sense if you're not used to, 1-to-1 every day. Oh no. But it was great because you can go to this appointments page for your calendar, and unfortunately, well, this isn't as helpful as I thought, but like it shows the slots, like you said, and then you just share this link with everyone, and it's there. It's wonderful.
It is wonderful. Now, the only downfall, Kate, I would love to, if you have a resolution for this, but if it doesn't integrate with your Microsoft, so you have to really watch whether or not you're following Microsoft or you're following Google. So I've just not quite found the hang of which one to blend most of them together. So you do have to watch that.
The other hang up is that it automatically generates a Google Meet link. I couldn't get the setting to take it off. So like for all of my office hours, I wanted the same nickname so that staff didn't have to hunt for a link. They knew, I was meeting with me at this time. Here's the nickname. Or like if I wanted to meet with a kid for an office hour, I wanted them to use the nickname because, that's more of a secure meet. And when you sign up for an office hour, it automatically generates a Google Meet, even if you didn't select that option. So I would go back in and I would delete the Meet link so that they would see my note in the description of use this nickname. That was the other hang up that was slightly frustrating. Because, at the beginning of all this, we had the whole debacle of what is a secure meet, how do kids get on but not necessarily, or get off but not necessarily get back on, that kind of thing.
Right.
So it's kind of just up to you. But yeah, the appointments feature is great. And it's just this appointment slot setup when you go to add a new thing. So, and then you can hide your bar off to the left, which all I did was click the hamburger. Yeah, not waffle, not meatballs, hamburger. And and then you can add your key back in and stay organized that way. So calendar to keep, and then your drive just together. It's a 1, 2, 3 punch knockout combo. Kind of a big fan.
That's awesome. And Kate, you just gave me an awesome idea. What if we did a Bitmoji classroom about it's like a Google food truck with like the hamburger, the waffle, and like explains what all the parts of Google are. Just spitballing here. Sorry. Thank you.
I love it.
Now I'm hungry. And not lunch. I want like lunch now.
Well, Kate and Kyle, thank you. Kyle, thank you for joining us. Kate, thank you for your brilliance and sharing those wonderful tips, and tons of people in the chat. We have Anita and Chelsea and Anna, and they're sharing other tips as well, and thanking you for all of your information that you're sharing. So you have a great day, and we will see you again, Kate. See you later.
Thanks, Kate. Thank you. See you, Elaine. Thank you.
Bye. All right, well, up next we have Clever 101 with Michelle Brown, and she is going to talk about Clever, which is one of the most amazing tools that I have seen. So good morning, Michelle. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. So if you need help with, you've already got it all up. Look at you. I will be following. Yes, looks great. I will be following the chat and let you know if anybody has a major question. And we have a team behind the scenes as you join Michelle and I live to help you with any questions that you may have. And I can't wait for them to learn more about Clever.
Great. Okay, so this morning we're going to talk about Clever. I'm sure most of you guys are probably already familiar with it, but we're going to go over a few things today. So let's get started. We're going to talk about navigating your Clever portal. By the end of today's session, I'm hoping that you guys understand how to access resources through Clever, how to utilize the support tools, and how to customize the Clever portal to meet the needs of your student. So some of you may be asking, what is Clever? So Clever is a secure single sign-on portal. So we can access thousands of applications through Clever. Districts can add any single sign-on apps to Clever and share it with the correct group of users. Teachers can add any link and many of the single sign-on resources to their student and teacher portals. You can also reclaim learning time. As I know, with a lot of kiddos in the classroom and everybody having a hard time signing on, if you use the Clever single sign-on and use the Clever badges, it makes it easy for even the youngest of students to access their applications in a quick process. Teachers can also log on an entire class to an app, as well as also log off the entire class at the end of a classroom period of time. That way, if you've got another class coming in directly behind this class that's leaving, and you share devices, you know that all the kiddos are logged out before the next class logs in. There's also personalized portals where users can see what they are licensed to see. Users can also customize their portals with favorited resources, teacher pages, library pages, and much, much more. Okay, let's see here. So you may be wondering how Clever works. Clever started as a platform to help the district roster learning applications. Now we can also provide access to those and more applications, as well as classroom management tools to address the needs of all of your teachers and your students. So you may also wonder what teachers are able to do in Clever. Well, Clever teacher features, that's kind of a tongue twister there, but Clever's teacher feature set can be bucketed into 3 complementary categories through access, which is a single sign-on into any application, can favorite resources and you can search, through the support, which includes the teacher tools and the Clever badges, and through classroom resources, which are the teacher pages and the Clever library. accessing your digital resources. Okay, so once your account is set up, you'll be able to log into Clever. Everyone logins to Clever the same way, and there are basically 3 different ways you can log into Clever. The first way is through the unique portal URL. You can bookmark this page, again, which is through the clever.com/in/JCPS KY Clever. When you go to this site, you will then enter your JCPS credentials, and it will log you into Clever. You can also log in by going to the JCPS homepage, click on Employees, click on Logins, and click on Clever. Or you can go to the JCPS Quick Links in the top left-hand side of your browser. You can log in again using your JCPS credentials. Also, at this point as well, your students can log in using the Clever Badge login. We'll talk about the Clever Badges in a little bit. Okay, so what's available in your portal? Today, I'm going to show you what's available in your portal, but just as a FYI, today we're going to be using fake student data and false school data, false teacher data. So when you first sign into Clever, what you're going to see is your homeroom page. This is where you can access all of your pages that you've created for your classes, all of the resources you've added, and resources that the district has shared with you. As we see here, we're in Mr. Kelly's class. Dan sees his own teacher page, which is created for him. He sees Mr. Kelly's class, which is Dan Kelly. That is going to be, that is going to be the resources that he shared with his student. And he's going to see the district page, which are the apps that the district has added for him. Mr. Kelly can also favorite his apps if something he wants to have one-step access to by clicking on an app. When he clicks on an app or when he puts his mouse on an app, there's going to be a heart that appears. He can click on that heart and it will be considered a favorite resource of his. Okay, so you're going to be asking about, well, how do we add software? Let's see here. You may be asking about how do you get software or app added to your portal. You're going to need to go through the software approval process in order to get an app approved or software approved to add a link. To request software approval from JCPS, if you're not familiar with it, you're going to be going to the jcps.me/software site. For the software that has been approved but is not on Clever, you will need to submit a LandDesk ticket. When looking at the software approval site, I'm going to keep flipping back and forth, sorry about that. Oh my goodness, hang on here, I've totally got off track. Sorry about that, guys. When you're looking at the software approval site, if the app, this is going to be what the site looks like. If the app is outlined in green, the app has been, let's see, app is in green, the app is outlined, it's approved by JCPS, so you'll just need to put in a LandDesk ticket. If the app is outlined in blue, there's going to be more documentation needed before it can be added to your site. And if the app is outlined in yellow, it means that some of the documentation has expired and that JCPS will be needing to get more data from it's going to be needing to update more data. At the top of the software approval site, you're going to see a request button. If you click on the request button, that will allow you to put in a request for the software that you want added. If there is a cost to the software or the app that you're wanting added, you will need to submit a requisition to your bookkeeper. And once the requisition has been approved, you can submit a ticket to IT so that the process can get started to add the app or the software to your site. So you may also want, once you get started, you may also want to find out how you find your resources that you use frequently. So once you add a resource to your page, in order to add them or to visit them frequently, you will do the favorite process, which I described earlier. You put your mouse on top of the app that you want to add, click on the heart button, and you will be able to access that as a favorite with a one-click process. Let's see here, I think I've already gone over that. Favoriting resources only reflected in individual portals. Resources that you favorite will not be favorited to your students. So you will be able to resource them, but your students will not see what you have favorited. And as we see here, you will see the heart that lights up under the Clash Dojo. It's lit up. If you want to remove that as a favorite, you will click on the heart again and it will disappear. Okay. You can search. There's a search button. So if you want to search, you can search for your resources, which would be your apps. You can search for students, and you can search for free resources to try. If you want to access a free library resource or an app of any type, you will type it into the search bar. If you haven't installed it yet, it will direct you to a detail page where you can learn more about the app. If you want to search for students, district added apps or free resources that you can add to your classroom, you can search for that as well. As we see here, it shows us that Math Blasters is a single sign-on app. Number Munchers is also a single sign-on app. You look at the math lesson plan, that is a link. If you click on the link, it will be an external link that will take you to that. We'll also show you that Mathrific is single sign-on, where MathWoot is a single sign-on as well, and then these are your students that you are searching for, if you search under the MAT. If you click under, if you want to search for something that starts with a C, it's going to show you resources or apps that you have that start with a C, possibly like Core. It can search for your students that start with a C, like Corbin, Corey, Carissa.
Hi, Michelle. This is Elaine. For some reason, my audio is not being very nice, so can you just take a quick pause and I'm going to restart OBS? Okay.
That is not a problem.
Okay, I apologize.
That is not a problem.
Exit. No. Okay. Goodness.
That's okay.
Okay, let's see if that's better. I'm not sure.
Are you want me to try, Elaine? Is that better?
I think so. It says no sound now is what they were telling me. What's killing me is that I didn't really change anything. So I don't know what's going on. Okay. This is echoey.
I heard an echo as well. I don't have anything else opened.
No? Yeah? Well, it would have been on my end because they said it happened in the last session too. So I apologize. Now it's taking...
No, that's perfectly fine.
Okay. So if I stop the recording, everyone's going to have to rejoin a new link. So you won't have to do anything. But everybody, I just wanted you to know out there on YouTube, you're just going to need to refresh and click the new live link. So we will be 2 seconds. I just got to get that started. So, okay, we'll be right back. I'm sorry. It's
you are perfectly fine, Elaine.
I think they will have to refresh.
That's okay.
There we go. All right. Still echoey, they said. Gotta love technology. We do love it. It's just at times, it's so much fun to. Okay. So I'm waiting to see if it's better.
Okay.
Okay. I'm so sorry. Okay.
You want to try it?
We can try it. It doesn't sound necessarily any different on my end because I wasn't really hearing much of an echo. Okay, my friend is texting me. My friends. Okay. No, they're not. No, they're not answering.
Uh-oh.
That's okay. No.
Maybe they got off the train.
No, yeah, they. But it would still say that we're live, so. Okay. Come on, friends. Let me check it. Actually, I could just check the digital.
Sure.
Okay, still on the same link. Okay, so I am going to. Kate says, "You got this." Okay, so I am going to end the stream and then restart this.
Again.
Yep, so you got this. All right, so I'm going to end it.